Thank you for that, Sylvie. Great. Has the doorbell stopped in the waiting room?
It has. It's slowed at least. I'll keep letting
Great.
folks in if they show up.
Great. Well, maybe we should get started then. Sylvie, you ready?
Ready.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Ann Ball. I'm a program director at Maine Development Foundation, and specifically I work on the Maine Downtown Center program. And I will let my partner Sylvie introduce herself.
Hi, Sylvie PK. I'm program director and work on the Maine Downtown Center program with Ann at MDF. And we also have our program coordinator here, who we might as well let introduce herself.
Perry.
Yes, hi everyone just listening today, but I'm Perry Williams, and I work with Ann and Sylvie.
And she keeps us all together and does a lot of other things at MDF. You may have interacted with her with the C Main program and the 4 Main program and lots of other things, but she works largely on the Downtown Center, which we are lucky to have her. And thanks for being a spectator today, Perry. So we are going to get started. And we're glad that you're all here. Please put your name and where you're from in the chat. And if you have questions, Sylvie and I are going to kind of tag team on presentation and monitoring the chat. So feel free to type questions into the chat and we will take them as they come. And then we have time at the end as well. And we want to dive into what is our affiliate program and municipal application information session. This is a program we do annually because we have communities that are really interested in this work, doing this work in their communities, and this is how you go about it. That second slide was just some of our sponsors and partners that we always want to thank. We do get funding from the Office of Community Development through Community Development Block Grant Program to support communities like all of you. And then you can see lots of our other wonderful supporters, groups like Kennebec Savings, who actually help us give small stipends to community members in their service areas to help attend our program. So a great group of supporters there. So what we're going to do is quickly go over a brief introduction of the affiliate program, the types of membership and the benefits of membership, and then the timeline for applying to the program. Was there a question? No. Okay. And any additional information and sharing of documents, we have some things to send home with you, including a really fun 4-minute video for you and your perhaps committee members at the local level that we weren't able to queue up today the way I had hoped. Next slide, Sylvie. As a reminder, MDF, many of you have heard of Maine Development Foundation. We were founded by the legislature in 1978, I think, to do economic research for the legislature, like a body outside of state government to do that work. And we still do that economic research through publications like Measures of Growth, which many of you have probably heard of. And the Maine Economic Growth Council. We also do wonderful leadership training programs. I saw some Leadership Maine alum. I think Tim Curtis, did you go through a Leadership Maine maybe? Or ICO? I can't remember. So yes, these are great leadership programs. And then we have a lot of our community programs and workforce programs, including the Maine Downtown Center. And our next slide is really grounding you in the Main Street program, which nationally began also about the same time as MDF as a demonstration project. And it was really in response to the building of malls and taking economic development outside of core downtown districts. So it was founded nationally in the National Trust for Historic Preservation. And it really grew into a movement. If you want to go to the next slide, we have main streets all over the country, 1,200 main streets, and a lot of people travel the United States and say, oh, I'm going to go to a Main Street community because they know there'll be this incredible place, often with wonderful historic buildings and things going on in the downtown. So it's quite a movement nationally. And then the next slide is really what we're doing here in Maine. So we, the Maine Downtown Center, serves as the statewide coordinator for the National Main Street program here in Maine. And we have a number of 24 communities that participate in the program officially, which is what we're going to talk about today. And we really help these communities on their downtown revitalization journeys. And we always say that we're really creating places of shared prosperity and really equal access to opportunity. We really preach kind of downtowns that are open and welcoming to all, really people who live there, people who work there, and people who visit there. So these are an over 40-year-old approach to economic development in downtowns that is highly successful. It has great data and really a wonderful approach. And I think I have one more slide, Sylvie, is that right? Yeah, so here is our map of our programs. We have our Main Street communities, which are nationally accredited, annually accredited 501c3 organizations with full-time staff. They range from having one staff to maybe, I think our largest program has 3 staff people. And then we have our downtown affiliate program, which you'll hear a little bit more about today. They are largely all volunteer, and sometimes they're nonprofit organizations, sometimes they're committees of their municipalities. And they really are sometimes on a journey to become a Main Street, but sometimes this is the space that works for them. The town of Norway was a Main Street and then decided that the staffing requirements were a little much for them and they wanted to stay as an affiliate, and they are an amazing organization. So, and then lastly, our municipal communities, Bridgeton, Stonington, and North Haven. So there are benefits to all these programs, and I'll let Sylvie dive into more details.
Okay. And this is the 4-point approach, which is a really national framework that Main Street America really we get from the Main Street America method. This is a methodology for the downtown revitalization and the work that our different communities all are really housing their work in: economic vitality, design, organization, and promotion. And each of our main streets are working in these areas most robustly, but really the affiliate communities are encouraged to touch on these 4 points, but in any given year, they may be focused on 1 or 2 of these. And same with our municipal communities. This is a framework that we'll reference and encourage communities to consider, because through touching these 4 points, it's really the best way to lead to that community transformation and downtown revitalization. But knowing that, you know, in terms of capacity, working on one of these is a really great start for any community that's working on downtown revitalization. So our 10 main streets that Anne mentioned, were those gold stars on that map of Maine, are highlighted here. These are our nationally accredited Main Street organizations, and all have, again, paid staff and are a, you know, independent entity and more established. The affiliate program is one that we'll be talking more about today. And we currently have 13 affiliates, with 1 on its way in application. But these are either standalone entities, again, nonprofits, or outside of the municipality, and then some are still housed within their municipality. There's a lot of variety when it comes to what the organization of an affiliate downtown community looks like. And some are highlighted here. This program was started in 2009 as that kind of sister program to the main streets. And as Anne mentioned, has a lot of variety. And then the newest program that we have is our municipal community program. And this is another great entry point. Some communities are ready to enter into the Maine Downtown Center program through being a municipal community. Others have a kind of group of citizens and business owners and community representatives that are working on this revitalization, and they might be ready for that affiliate level. Some are still just housed in their municipality and wanting to apply this 4-point approach and kind of the resources that come with being a Main Downtown Center program. And the Municipal Community Program is a great way to start with that. So these are 3 that we've got officially, and we've had interest from some of you all who are on this call already, as well as some others. So first, we're going to talk about the affiliate downtown membership program, and then we're going to talk about the municipal community program. And the affiliate program comes with different requirements. We're going to send you off and follow up with you with a 1-pager that outlines a lot of these requirements and benefits. So we won't read through all of these, but there are some benchmarks that we look for, and there's also some level of commitment that we look for from our our affiliate downtown community members. Participation in MDC offered events and trainings is one of the requirements, along with completing an annual reporting form, which is much lower barrier than what our main streets have to report on each year, but really trying to make sure that as affiliates, you're just paying attention to, what are some trends in your downtown in terms of new businesses or businesses moving on, and what are the number of volunteers that you're leveraging to do this work, because as part of that 4-point approach, that organization point is really based on organizing your community of business leaders in the downtown, community members, and other interested parties who are all a part of this program being successful. So some other requirements there, but again, we won't touch on each one. I think one of the biggest benefits as well as requirements is participation in this community. We have, and we'll share more about this in a little bit, but we have an event coming up special for our affiliate and municipal members. And it's one that one of our affiliates recommended. They said, we'd love to get together in person with our peers across the state who are other affiliate communities and share what we're struggling with, what we've learned in this last year. And it's a real shared learning community. We've got a lot of virtual opportunities to come together and for communities to share. And then this is going to be one kicking off this new year in person that'll happen at the end of the month. But participation in that community is, again, one of the biggest kind of benefits and one of the requirements we look for in terms of just sharing the information you're learning and knowing that everyone has faced or someone else has faced a similar struggle to what you have in your downtown and in your community. And we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Main Street America is really big on rip off and duplicate, I think they call it. So no one has to invent it for the first time. So that shared learning community expands nationally as well, which is something that we have access to as the coordinating program. And we are always looking for examples and samples of whatever it is that might help you with whatever challenges you're facing in your downtown and sharing them with you. So here are some other of the benefits. Again, it's discounted or free registration to these either virtual or in-person learning opportunities. We host a series of webinars and trainings, and we'll share the 2024 event schedule with you at the end of this. There's also opportunity for scholarship to participate in the leadership programs that Anne mentioned earlier, Institute for Civic Leadership and Leadership Maine. Really great leadership development programs that actually Anne and Perry are currently in. And then along with the resource sharing and kind of peer learning that I've mentioned before, we have opportunities to come together monthly through our virtual Friday Zooms and then other kind of peer-to-peer opportunities to connect, whether it's through a specific kind of mentoring opportunity that we might connect you with another community of, oh, well, you're facing this issue or you're in this position and it's new to you. How can we connect you with someone who's been doing this and serve in that mentoring kind of role. And we provide technical assistance to all of our member communities at a certain level for the affiliate membership and at a different level for the municipal membership. But the truth is that we serve as a statewide resource, as Anne had mentioned at the beginning, for anyone working on this downtown revitalization. So while our technical assistance is more robust for our member communities, we are here to assist with whatever issues or opportunities you're seeing in your downtowns. A lot of information on these pages. Any questions coming up? I don't see anything in the chat quite yet, but feel free to chime in. And again, we're going to give you all of this through a handout. And this is a little bit more in terms of those benefits. The Rapid Response is a technical assistance program of sorts that we developed because we recognized that some of our affiliates were facing issues that needed a little more intensive kind of support. And so it's something that Anne and I have tried to flesh out in terms of how can an MDC staff, one of us, kind of go into the community and spend 4 to 6 months going to regular meetings, working through, whatever this new kind of challenge or opportunity is, and helped with just being a sounding board, sharing of resources, connecting and convening of other expertise in order to help address that issue. And then one benefit in particular for the affiliate downtown membership, which doesn't quite reach the municipal membership level, but for the affiliates, they get one additional bonus point in the State of Maine Community Development Block Grant Program that the Department of Economic and Community Development offer. And that point, we've been told by DECD staff, that 1 point can make the difference when they're looking at different grant applications in terms of who gets granted monies through that program and those that don't quite make it when they're tallying up all those totals. So that's definitely kind of a feather in the cap and something that for folks going for that affiliate designation benefit from. Oh yeah, okay. So for the affiliate kind of application process, we have one community who is in process with their application right now. They submitted their application last October 2023. So they're following this kind of timeline as we speak. We did their site visit in December, and we have sent them their kind of site visit report. And this is a really collaborative process. So if any of you are interested in becoming a new affiliate member, we'd love to hear about it now. Don't feel like it's kind of an invisible behind the scenes silent application process. We'd love to know if you're working on an application or have an interest in it because we can support you through that process. The application is a great exercise in looking at, and we can, we'll certainly send you the link and we can look at that application if we have time here. But it's really looking at your assets as a community and in the downtown, looking at who would be involved because these applications, we don't want coming from just one person, right? One municipal staff or one interested property owner in the downtown. We really want to see that there's a group of people that are all interested and invested in helping this program move forward and really set roots and take shape in the community. And so we look for that diverse representation of property owners and business owners, municipal staff or elected officials, as well as different community members. Putting together an application and submitting that. Again, the next deadline is coming up in October 2024. So you have some time to work on it, and we would love to support you through that effort. And then we schedule a site visit for each of our community applications. And usually the review team is made up of an MDC staff member or two, along with some members from our advisory council. And those are kind of statewide experts in a variety of different areas with different backgrounds who help us with applications and reviewing communities who are in our program or interested in being in our program. And we put together a site visit report that kind of highlights some different areas of either wanting some more information or some areas to that would be important to highlight in a work plan. Should they be accepted into the program? And then notification of new membership comes in the following new year. So for this year's applicants, they'd find out shortly in the new year in 2025. And then we'd help with outlining and rolling out a communications plan to announce those new affiliate members. So we have some samples. And what do you think in terms of time? Should I bring these up now or put links in the chat?
Why don't we put the links in the chat and then see how our timing looks and if there are any specific questions. And while Sylvie's doing that, I will say the application is really meant to be a process that takes place between the municipality and local businesses, owners, local property owners, and downtown residents. Like all those people need to be involved in kind of applying to the program and really looking at things like, you know, what are your economic strengths? What are your gaps or challenges in your community? What are your boundaries for like a core district? And we work with communities on all of these things, kind of helping you sort out the pieces of the application. As Sylvie said, it is meant to be a collaborative process because we want you to come into the program really ready to do the work. So that's why we have kind of all these samples for you to take a look at. In this case, Hollowell and Ellsworth. And Ellsworth is a community that's been an affiliate for a few years and is currently ascending to apply to become a Main Street, which is a really big year-long process that we're working on with them. So yeah, how does that sound? We'll put them in the chat. And then I think I'm going to talk a little bit about the municipal membership, which is a place where we've realized a lot of communities need help because they don't have a committee that the staff is currently, you know, supporting, or maybe they have an economic development committee, but the economic development committee wants to think about, you know, focusing on the downtown as an asset to economic development strategies going forward. And we can, you know, help with kind of forming what does that effort look like in your community. And we try to give the communities access to all of the trainings and educational programs for free, pay a smaller membership fee, get to call us on the phone and find out, you know, things that they need. I think of our current let's see, who are our current municipal? Bridgeton, North Haven, and Stonington. We're going to actually have our advisory council meet in Stonington in the next year, which again brings this like huge expertise to downtown Stonington, like design expertise with a member who's an architect, actual Main Street expertise from one of our advisory council members that used to have the same job I do in Washington State. And economic development professionals, Department of Transportation. So we're going to bring that group and meet there and really kind of give them a lot of sort of information and support and ideas and things like that. So the one thing, as Sylvie said, is municipal members do not get the CDBG bonus point. That does require like a more concerted effort and committee that's meeting regularly. But this is a great starting point for some communities. And here are the benefits that I had just mentioned. Letters of support. We write letters of support for our communities all the time, whether it's a T-Mobile grant, which is really a placemaking grant. You saw that slide of the Sturgeon in downtown Augusta. That was a $50,000 grant that the Augusta Downtown Alliance got from T-Mobile to install that public art project, and we wrote a letter of support. I write letters of support for federal grants, for state grants, for foundation grants. You know, we want to support you and talk about, you know, your downtown and successful metrics that we're seeing statewide and nationally that may help a funder understand what your initiative is all about. So we will do that. And convening you guys with peer municipal groups. We also have an economic development directors roundtable that meets quarterly. We're meeting this next week, I think, Perry, and we are having the new chair of the Land Bank Authority meet with the economic development directors to talk about what that land bank is looking like. MDF is helping set that organization up, and we want to bring the chair to that meeting of economic development director professionals. So lots of ways that we get you together with peer groups around the state. And we are not duplicating the professional organizations like Maine Community Development Association or Economic Development Council of Maine. We're kind of filling in downtown expertise when we can with those groups. Moxie Festival in that photograph is in Lisbon, which is one of our affiliates. The next steps are really completing a contact form. We have a letter of agreement and really wanting to get either municipal staff or if there are some volunteers really working together on those next steps, like getting them to attend a training and see what this is all about. Or working on some sort of downtown work plan of some easy achievable things that might make sense for your community. So it's really meeting you where you are and like an entree to the program. Let's see. I think we want to see if there are any questions. I think that's our formal presentation. We have a couple other little announcements, but we would love to know with this size group, feel free to take yourself off mute and we will monitor the group to see you raising your hand or just take yourself off mute or put it in the chat if you prefer. And it also could be a quiet group this afternoon, and we're okay with that. All right, well, we're going to share a couple other slides for you while you're thinking of your good questions. We, for years and years, have held a statewide downtown conference, but it has not been held since 2015, 16. Thank you, yeah. Perry. Yep, 2016. It was held in Bar Harbor. And when I took over this program at the time, we had our own financial stresses and it was just me. And now we are a team of 3 and we have a re-engaged advisory council and we think we have the capacity to bring back this amazing conference. So those are the dates, mark your calendars. And we did just hear a couple weeks ago that this brand new CEO and president of Main Street America is going to be our keynote, which I think is really unbelievable. And we will do annual awards, which we always do in a different setting, but we are really excited to bring this event back. And Biddeford is a community that has been nationally designated as a Great American Main Street in 2022. And it was a huge national award that communities typically apply 3 or 4 or sometimes more times to get this award, and they did it in their first year, and it's a really quite an honor. Maine has 2 GAMSAs, Bath is the other one. So having it in Biddeford just made a lot of sense for us, and Saco being their neighbor across the river. So I hope you can join us for that. And
before you get to the next events
I
calendar,
see Michael. Yeah, I see
Michael's got a great
question. Awesome. Questions are coming in. Michael, from Waterville, to become an affiliate, how many, if any, volunteers do you need to have in place at the time of application? And do you need to have a bylaws draft? There is no sort of number of volunteers that you need to have in place, and no, you do not need to have bylaws, because many of our affiliates start in their municipalities as a committee. Again, it could be an existing committee an economic development committee, Parks and Rec, beautification. We've seen lots of different committees that say, oh, we're going to also do this downtown work. So you don't have to have that. As far as the number of volunteers, no number, Michael, but you know the formula better than anybody. Michael was the director of the Augusta Downtown Alliance for 7 or 8 years and just has taken a new job. Sorry to share all that, Michael. Hope it's okay. Anyway, I think the main thing that we would want to see from an affiliate application is that you have representative of a local business, of a downtown property owner, of a downtown resident, and of the municipality. Those 4 groups, right? We would love to see representation for that collective thinking about your downtown. And then I see we have another question. Oh, we have a new downtown tip. That's right. Kelly, you're from Oakland, am I right? So we have empty historic buildings on our main street, and we're starving for businesses, and a sit-down restaurant pub. Does yours going to help with finding businesses? Well, I don't think that we are out doing the recruiting. I think what we do, Kelly, is work with your local committee and again, municipal staff and property owners on coming up with the strategy to attract those businesses and creating the environment where those businesses want to relocate. We do a lot of work and have been funded through a congressionally directed spending request and Maine Community Foundation on entrepreneur ecosystem work. So we're working in 9 communities right now, really looking at what creates an environment in that community where an entrepreneur wants to open a business. And what kind of support system do they need? So we will not go out and do the recruiting, but we would work with you and provide education and training and technical assistance to be like, all right, what is Oakland's, what's gaps in their business mix downtown? Do they have 8, hair salons? Because maybe they need to diversify, and how can you go about doing that? We have had Main Street directors actually recruit for a specific restaurant. Years ago, Belfast really wanted an Indian restaurant, and the Main Street director was like, I'm going on a recruiting mission. And she did that, and I don't know if she was successful, but I remember it being solely driven by her. Then we have other communities who have used TIF dollars to provide incentives to attract certain businesses. So let's say Oakland says, we want that restaurant pub, and we're going to use TIF dollars to support that new business when they come, not just maybe tax relief, but like, is there a way to think about supporting them in marketing or rent relief for a certain period of time, or website design? Like, what other ways can you either use your TIF dollars or others, other support dollars to make it easy for that business to say, I want to go to Oakland? So those are the kind of things that we would do with your volunteer group, and lots of case studies from around the country and Maine. Other questions? Those are 2 good ones. And I think we have one more slide as you're thinking of your questions. This is our schedule for events and trainings in 2024. All sorts of things from historic preservation to thinking about inclusive communities and board responsibilities and roles, a program we do with Maine Association of Nonprofits. And then in addition to these trainings, we do meet with our affiliates. Is it every 3 years, Sylvie, for a goal setting session? So like, we will come meet with the committee or the board and really look at like a work plan and what are their goals for the next 3 years, and help them define working within that 4-point approach, and also working with the right partners and matching them with funding sources and things like that. So we often are, I'm going to be in Saco next Monday night for a board retreat, working with them for a good long time and looking at their work plan, and also talking to them about what a working board means. Main Street boards are a little different than a lot of boards. The board members really roll up their sleeves and help do the work. So we always have a lot of kind of hands-on work with our communities. And that's great, Kelly, that you are doing that work already with your committee. I would say this program is just going to give more information, more examples, more ideas to think about that business recruitment program and think about, you know, the economic strategy that Oakland wants to use to do that. So that's how I would think about that. But of course, let us know how we can help. Other questions from anybody? And that, I think there's one last slide. There we are in Old Town on a site visit. So we would be happy to connect with any of you. We're happy to stay on for some more informal questions. If people don't feel like doing it in front of a group, we're okay with that. And we'd love to help you all think about whether this program is a good match for you. And that is the end of our formal presentation.
Thanks so much for being here, everyone. We will send out the recording and all the links that we mentioned to those sample application materials, along with the 2024 events flyer and that 4-minute video that Main Street America put together. That's a really nice, succinct way to share this program. And it's kind of the meat and values of it with others as you're explaining it or talking to folks about it.
Great. So we'll stop sharing our screen and hang out for a few minutes and see if anybody, and stop recording too, and just see if anybody has any more questions. And thanks for coming.